You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's WWE NXT After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE NXT After Show.
This is a little hobo music here for you.
I like this bluegrass.
I figured you would. Well, actually, Steven figured you would. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another AfterBuzz After Show for NXT, WWE's NXT. In my opinion, the best program WWE has to offer today.
Hey, if it's Thursday, it's NXT.
Yes,
That's how it
absolutely.
works.
Technically Wednesday, they
it's
say.
technically Wednesday night, but I never see it until like 11 p.m.
Yeah, midnight, and that angers me. It's only available for an hour.
But then it's Thursday.
then-
That's Thursday after that.
You would
Yeah.
think in Florida and on the East Coast where they would release. I mean, they're
It's-
not releasing it there, but
Right.
then
where it's being
Thursday already.
uploaded,
Yeah.
most likely.
It's
Right.
Thursday already.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably. I actually asked about that once, and I believe it's a Hulu issue. Hulu does it. It's not
Stupid
the WWE.
Hulu.
So they obviously submit it to Hulu, and then Hulu would put it up whenever
Okay.
they
enough.
feel like it. So. Anyways, we get started and we find out, we see Sylvester Lefort. Actually, I should probably introduce everybody here
Yeah.
first,
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah.
I? I just
Introduction.
wanted to jump right into the show.
They know
I am
us.
Ryan Clum.
do.
You guys know I am joined once again by Cathy Kelley.
Hey guys.
Wearing pink today, and the Hobo with his boxcard superstar championship.
That's
Every
pretty cool.
champion needs a belt, and even if you got to make one, I'm still a champion.
Yeah.
That's what happened at Showtime. He made that belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Hobo's tried to force me to have to challenge for it before. Actually,
Yes.
I refused.
Yes.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to challenge for
Many
it.
men have not wanted to
No.
wrestle me for this,
No.
but just wanted to wrestle me.
Absolutely.
But I do not offer that option. If you
No.
wrestle me, you must fight me for the belt.
I like the studs on it.
Thank you. It was an old belt I found in a trash can. I just took them off,
Speaking
popped
of-
them on here, and there you go.
We should actually, I guess, mention the Hobo this week was featured on Trash Bag Wrestlers.
It was a big day for me yesterday.
Yes, but the best part of that is it's usually not a compliment to be on Trash Bag Wrestlers. They go after people on their gear.
So is that like a Razzie award? for
Yeah,
movies?
kind of.
Okay.
Sort of.
But I will tell you, people were up in arms on and Facebook like exploded when the Hobo went up on there. People freaked out about Hobo being
Wrestlers
in
were
there.
upset.
Wrestlers
Not
were
even
very, very
fans.
upset.
Wrestlers
Both.
were upset.
Yeah.
And I think they removed the post. I
did
went
they?
and looked back at it later, and I can't find it. I think
Oh.
they actually removed it
Yeah.
because of all the
The
commotion.
negative.
Hey.
Everyone was saying you guys need to do your research because this is somebody who does not qualify for this website.
I guess I'm special.
You are special. You are a TV star. Might be local, but you are a TV star.
Well,
Actually, you are
and,
national now.
We're a national, and I'm on a billboard. How many people
Oh,
can say
actually,
that?
and I meant to get a picture and put that up because the Hobo is locally on a billboard here.
That's
Yeah, well, up in Oxnard, but
yeah.
that's local enough.
Yeah, it's very cool. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyways, let's get going. How should we should start some
Yeah.
NXT here.
Start from the beginning.
So I think that's a great idea, Hobo. Thank you.
And then we'll end when it's over.
And when it's over, end
Yeah.
with the main event.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, we start off with Sylvester Lefort in the back and this mysterious woman that has been with his client,
Yeah.
Alexander Rusev,
And
over the last
this
couple
is
weeks.
something that was a WWE exclusive, so they released it earlier in the week.
This is
but,
on the
yeah.
website.
But yeah, I did not expect Lana to have a Russian accent.
I like it.
Or just speak straight Russian.
Yeah.
It wasn't an accent. I couldn't understand.
Well, later
Those
in the night she
Vidania,
had
I know.
And then when
Yeah,
she
no,
speaks
that
in
was
English,
Russian,
there was a
but-
little bit of Russian accent in her
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
But
I was not expecting that whatsoever.
No, I thought it was. I thought it was great. I like the pairing. Basically, Sylvester Lefort asks what's wrong with Rusev. We find out he's basically no longer representing him.
I kind of want to know though. as a wrestler, like I don't know her background, whether obviously she knew some Russian before this, but
she's fluent in, from what I've been told.
She's
I think she's Russian, and she was born here, I believe, but she's completely fluent in Russian.
In real life, she does not have an accent, not even the slightest bit. So is that
I want to say her family,
keep it on?
and I want to say probably her family. I think I heard her family is from Russia or something. There is some Russian connection.
She could be channeling one of her parents, just using that as a source for the accent.
Like, I actually know somebody who grew up in France. She's French, but her dad's American. She's an American accent, but she can turn that French accent on like that, and you never even know.
Okay.
Yeah, you listen to it every day. You better be able to recreate
I can do a
it.
Southern accent,
So,
but.
So that gets us to our first match, which is Lefort taking on his former not pupil, but
representation is former talent.
Yeah.
Taking him on, and I don't know, this wasn't really much of a match. Lana,
it was like a slaughter.
And Lana actually announced Rusev in Russian. Did a little bit of a Ricardo Rodriguez in Russian, which is cool.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that can be a gimmick for anyone. It's like, we haven't done it with this language yet. Let's just give him, we have an Italian,
Spanish, Italian.
Santino should have his own Italian announcer now.
Maybe it should be a guy bigger than him. Because all the other ones are smaller.
Anyways, Rusev just attacks Lefort, locks him in the Accolade, shoves his money, which Lefort was trying to pay him off in the beginning.
Who wouldn't take a big sweaty wad of money? Come on, I mean, let's smooth things over.
Well, might have still taken it. I mean, shoved it in his mouth, taking it, put it in his pocket.
Maybe he should have brought a sandwich. I know things would be smoothed over with me if somebody brought a sandwich.
Brought you a sandwich?
Yeah.
Or
money.
Yeah, money.
Or a flask.
Or a flask. Or a good beer. All right, fine, easy to buy off. We understand.
A good solid cardboard box.
Like a refrigerator box. All right, maybe I'm not.
That's like
a
condo for you.
Yeah, deluxe.
So yeah, I guess there wasn't really much to this.
No.
It wasn't really match. It was really just progression of story forward of Rusev.
Honestly,
and the official split of him and Lefort.
All tonight, all of the matches were so short except for the main event.
Yeah.
It was weird.
There wasn't a lot of wrestling going on tonight. We'll get to the main event. The main event was a lot of punching going on.
That wasn't wrestling, baby.
There was more wrestling going on in the Matt Striker Scorpio Sky match we saw this weekend, which was completely this amazing wrestling match.
If you're a fan of old school wrestling, this was old school wrestling.
Yeah, championship wrestling from Hollywood did.
Like nothing I'd seen in a long time.
No one ran the ropes. No one bumped on their back. It was just a wrestling match and phenomenal. Yeah. There was more in that than the entire show tonight.
Pretty much.
But it was still an entertaining show. We progressed some stuff.
Right.
Next, we went to the back with Charlotte and Bayley, and Summer and Sasha show up to apologize to Bayley for breaking her bandana or her headband.
Girls know that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a guy. I forget what those things are called sometimes. Her So they go to give her another one, which has kitties on it.
Meow.
This was kind of, Charlotte came off so unlikable to me in this. She came off as a heel. It just did not work.
She was just kind of snarky, kind of bitchy.
Why are you here? Like, she felt like she was trying to out Summer Rae. Summer Rae.
Yeah.
I think that why are you here is completely acceptable, but it was the way that
she said it.
She should have been protecting Bayley, not fighting against Bayley and getting mad at Bayley.
She became Summer to me, and I was just like, this is kind of odd. But I will tell you, I thought she looked actually pretty good. It was the best I've seen her look.
Great.
I thought she looked good. I was like, she's actually pretty.
My problem with this is it felt kind of like not Charlotte. I felt like Sasha was a little bit disingenuous with the character thing. Like, I don't think it's fully there.
She's not there yet with it. She's new with it.
She believes that that's her character, and that's what's stopping her. Like, Summer, dead on. Charlotte, she's just, she's either being herself or whatever, some variation of herself. And then Bayley, I think, is just spot on with all of her things. Like, she actually believes that she's that fan. And
she's funny.
Never strays from it.
We should say she was doing a couple woos, and Charlotte was kind of like,
so
"Come on, Bayley!" Like,
especially towards the end when she just kind of worked it in.
Yeah. So, and then Summer and Sasha basically tell her that they could use a girl like her and invite them over. And I'll tell you, watching this, usually the reaction we should have is, boo, no, don't go with them. Mine was, I'd go with the even though they're the mean girls, or Wade. I mean, it's either them or Charlotte, who's kind of the same thing, and they were way cooler about it.
If you've ever been in high school or middle school, you know how this ends. The popular girls take the unpopular girl and do something terrible to her.
And you know what? To be like, Summer and Charlotte were both bitchy, but Charlotte's on Raw and SmackDown and traveling, so go with, Summer. Summer's with her, so let's go with Summer.
But
that's the way I felt coming out of it, and that was
in a career thing.
We could use you, like they're emphasizing use, so it's
absolutely.
Clearly their intent is right there.
Where this missed was Charlotte came off as a heel, and it didn't really make sense. But in her defense, she's so new at this. That's not always, she's obviously just more natural at that, so she's got to be careful, and they'll be working on that. So this is for them to learn. Mm-hmm. And she's been, I think, less than a year in development.
Yeah, she was doing volleyball before that.
Yeah, so she's working hard and doing a really good job. So we get our next match of Leo Krueger versus El Local, a guy that Hobo and I a couple weeks ago actually had the honor to get to train with a little bit. El Local was in town, and we got to work out with them.
And I trained for a good long while with him before he got sent up.
Yeah,
so
you know him very well.
I do.
Who's an incredibly talented guy. So this dominant victory by Leo Krueger really taking on a guy like El Local that is so talented shows you Leo's are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
good in the ring.
I missed the SmackDown match that featured
El Local.
El Local.
I did too, honestly.
Ricardo.
Yeah, I think I caught it.
El Local.
I know.
El Local.
I don't know what you're talking about.
People know what we're talking about if we say Ricardo.
Ricardo? Who's Ricardo?
So did the crowd there. They were chanting Ricardo.
Yeah. They're not dumb.
So this was really just El Local just really took a beating here. Krueger suplexes him 3 times, does this double underhook, like reverse full Nelson type thing, and gets the tap out. It was pretty quick.
As short as it was, you could tell that there was talent there, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And Krueger, once again, for me, just I'm not there with his character yet. It's
we go back and forth though with him. Like, I feel like a month ago I was like, wow, like he's so good, like he could totally go up to Raw, and now I'm just kind of iffy.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I feel like he's going at 20 miles an hour when he should be going at 100 with character-wise.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where it is. Very talented in the ring. He's a very good worker.
And it seemed like he was trying to connect with the audience tonight, which is not something he was doing before. No. The audience didn't seem to understand what was going on or who they should cheer for because he was so dominant. But at the same time, he was trying to connect with the audience, and so it just sort of didn't work at all. It was this sort of mush, and
still confused a little bit on the character. But once again, this is where they are working these things out. That is the whole point of this show. This is where they work the stuff out before they get up to the Raw and SmackDown. So it's polished by the time they get up there.
I think he needs a better idea of what he's doing. Yeah. He really needs to focus on what he wants to achieve and what he's trying to accomplish and how he's trying to accomplish it.
Yeah, right now I think like his character especially has potential, but right now it's not wowing me. Like if he wasn't in the show, I don't know, like I wouldn't think, oh, like where's Leo Krueger?
Right.
It's just I think that he has that potential. It's just not there yet. It's not completely clicking.
I'd like to. I mean, I've said it before. I want to see him go more the Jake the Snake Roberts route. Maybe become like know it's South Africa, not Australia, but like a crocodile hunter, a big game hunter type thing. Skinner, redo the Skinner gimmick. Something
so
along.
It's not comedic. It's very. It's a serious, like this guy
where he's not yelling ever, and he's very quiet, or even doesn't even speak, and just a glance will scare you, and not going da 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 da. I get rid of all of that.
Absolutely. I said it the first time I was here. I said he was Craven the Hunter from Spider-Man.
Yes.
That's exactly what he should be.
Yeah.
He should be this world-traveled hunter, but except for the fact that he doesn't know what his own motivation is.
Yeah.
He's losing himself in this sort of mishmash of I'm smiling, but I'm scary. I'm connecting with people, but I'm hurting this man.
I want people to be scared when he comes out. I want him to walk out and stare at the kids in the audience and have them hug their parents because they're frightened that this guy's staring at them.
Ice cold.
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
No emotion, no empathy, nothing. Absolute death.
And his in-ring style needs to also mirror that as well.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. This military background, I'm not seeing any sort of military in his ring work. I'm not seeing that reflected. I don't know.
But there's so much potential. Like he gets that one or two things honed, and boom, you never know. I mean, a guy named Stunning Steve Austin a few years back, was toiling in the mid card. Couple little tweaks here and there. Stone Cold Steve Austin sells more T-shirts than anyone else in history.
Stone Cold Steve Austin knew how to work his mouth. I haven't seen Leo Krueger open his. Yeah. Not in several weeks.
But I'll tell you, when I watched Stone Cold or Stunning Steve Austin, the mouth really wasn't there though at that point. It was later on
when he went to
ECW.
He snapped. He got it. He
Something
just
happened.
said what was on his mind, and once you connect with that, you can really become.
You never know. It just happens sometimes. A guy like Damian Sandow is another great example who toiled as Idol Stevens forever before coming. So, anyways, I digress. We got a recap next of Emma and Paige from the last couple weeks, and I'm so glad that we did because we totally forgot to talk about the end of the match last week.
We're flying by the seat of our pants here, folks. It's not going to be perfect every time.
In my mind, we had talked about it because I had watched that a couple times over, and I don't know.
People start saying that, I'm like, oh, they're so right. We just skipped over the end of it.
This is something that, honestly, it's been building up for a month. So seeing it over and over again, you see every single week, the tension between them just escalates and escalates and escalates. And I think I said a month ago, I was like, these two are going to break up as friends.
Right.
They're not going to be together.
Obviously,
and this is at the very beginning before any of the, accidental punching the other girl happened.
Right. So yeah, last week Emma decks Paige, so then we get this
Surprise!
WWE. Yay! So we get this WWE exclusive where they're arguing and
I like the
Paige
camera
says,
work
"Get away from me." Yeah, it was cool.
That came up okay, they're actually catching them in the middle of a fight.
I like that too. I agree.
The cameraman hears something, hears two people screaming, so they run over. It's not just the girls are screaming and there's already a camera there coincidentally.
TNA actually has done a little bit of stuff like that, reality catching things, but they're a little cheesy with it sometimes. It's like, let's sneak in the door.
They had
we're going to catch.
A whole after show for a while.
Yeah.
That was nothing but that.
Right, but WWE, I think if they do these style things, but they can do them even better. This really felt organic, they just caught these guys in the hall. Not like it was a produced setup thing that we're catching, but it felt organic. I'd like to see more stuff like this. I thought this was really good.
I mean, this is something that you could even do live on Raw where, someone's getting interviewed and then you hear a huge crash or something in the background, the camera turns and then they catch something else.
Yeah.
I think they've done it before, but they don't do it often. Not often.
Yeah.
Which is, I like that segment because it was different than the Summer and Sasha and Charlotte and Bailey segment.
It felt unique.
Right, and it like she said, it felt organic, whereas the other one felt very set up when I didn't like it for that. And it didn't feel real.
And you can tell down at NXT, they're trying little different things with their production and their show, and they're kind of on their own. They're kind of this WWE product, but they're on their own. They're kind of under the radar a little bit, so they can do their own thing and experiment on some things that you would never get to do on Main Event or SmackDown because they've got their formula down.
What makes it believable is I feel like how many times do you just argue with someone and you're standing with them against a white wall? It's not believable. Yeah.
What, when you're arguing with someone in the hall?
No, I'm saying in real life.
Oh, okay.
How many times does that happen? They need to be doing these arguments, maybe in the female locker room, one of them is stuffing their bag with all their stuff for the end of the day, and then the other two girls walk in. There needs to be something that makes it more real.
So what you mean then?
That's what I think was lacking in the first segment.
Okay, you mean not the one
with the Summer and Sasha and Charlotte.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like,
I gotcha.
Here. Yeah. Why are they all standing against this white wall?
I gotcha.
With a poster in the background.
You're right.
With a camera set up. It's like,
and you could tell the lights are there and they're set up. Yeah.
Oh, this just happened. No, it did not just happen.
This felt like because you are, I guess, right there. You could see almost the dark hallway in the background, and it didn't feel like it was all lit up properly.
On the other one, the background was completely black. It looked like it was right in front of the curtain, like they just come through, and one confronted the other. That's how it looked. It looked like a real, an actual argument.
It looked less produced.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more.
Right. You're right.
And that's what, even going back a couple weeks ago when they had, it was in the back and it was another argument. Sasha and Summer Rae were involved, and there was a makeup area, and that's something that's believable. Okay, one of the girls is putting on her makeup or checking her hair or whatever, and then the two other ones come up. That's, I don't know, that's more real than just having it.
Yeah. Less production with those sorts of things. Unless there's an interviewer. If there's an interviewer, I think there should be as much production as possible.
Correct.
Yeah.
But for these things that are supposed to happen, there should be less production.
Yeah.
They should be.
It should feel more organic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that brings us to our tag team match of the night, where
really? It was a tag team match?
Travis Tyler and Troy McClain take on the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Ascension. Another pretty, I guess this is our third kind of squashy match in a row.
Kind of squashy. This was a complete squash. The other guy didn't even get in the ring.
I was being nice. It was less squashy than the Lefort match.
The last one with the Ascension, they at least kicked the other guy. They didn't even bother with him this time.
Which sucks for that guy. I mean, it's like I came all this way and I got on NXT TV and I don't even get punched.
I will say this: the cooler man got beat up tonight. Okay. I like the guy's gear,
much
whichever
better.
one he was. He had mountains on there. I'm like, ooh, look, a painting. You know, it looks like something that was at least eye-catching.
Right. This cool highlights. O'Brien hits 6 rolling headlocks, which I thought was kind of cool.
Headlock takeovers. That was awesome.
I
wrote that down with a little star next to it for me in the future.
Might we see that on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood? One thing I got to say about I've said it before about the Ascension is they have great teamwork. These guys are a tag team. In fact, I think they probably have better teamwork than anyone on the main roster as far as tagging in and out, cutting a ring part, actually being a unified unit, old school 80s style tag team wrestling. I think they do it better than anyone else.
And that's why I think they're still in NXT. It's not because they're too good or they're short. It's because they're too good and they can't drop the belt to anybody because it won't be believable.
Well, I will say, though, one thing is the Ascension has been around for a long time, but this incarnation of the Ascension is very, very new. With O'Brien's been there forever, but Victor's only been with them for a few months. Yeah. I mean, it's been, I think, July, August, where he finally came in. So these guys as a unit are new, and I think
you can't
tell. No. They work together.
They work together unbelievably. Very well, but I feel like the reason why they aren't up on the main roster is because at least once a month it comes across as gimmicky, and not all the time. Like, they're on pretty much every
Bray
single
Wyatt's
show.
not.
But I
think Gimmick's on its way back, though. I think
Gimmick's coming back, baby.
I don't think that he was until they made him do that Survivor Series promo this past couple weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought Bray. I mean, Bray's to me the epitome of gimmick.
Right.
Kane.
I mean, it's enough
gimmicky, but it doesn't.
Being over the top.
It feels real. Okay. It feels like that's who he really is in real life. The Ascension guys, I believe that that's who they are in real life, and then once in a while, I'm like, oh no, they're just wrestlers who are putting on that.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand where you're going from, but I mean, I came from an era of the Powers of Pain and Legion of Doom and Demolition and all these over the top crazy.
I want to know that they have a real name. Like, I want to be so enthralled in what they're doing as a wrestler that I don't even think about that.
I mean, I'd love those guys to be from Parts Unknown and go old school and all that, but
different, yeah. Mm-hmm. Although in this match, there was one thing I noticed. There was
towards the end.
Yeah. After they hit the high-low, they didn't know who was legal.
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that.
Outside the ring going, is it you? Is it me? Is it you? And then one hopped in, and then he hopped out, and the other one went for the pin. I'm like, what happened?
O'Brien goes in, and then the other guy comes, and he, like, after he pins, he walks up and they do their, they stand there for a second and look scary.
It was
because he walked all the way around the ring.
But both of them were out of the ring. I think both thought the other was a legal man.
But
so
you know what?
Exited and went, go get him.
That's up to the referee to actually make that decision. So someone should have just covered him. Let the referee then say, no, you get off him.
That's sort of what happened. I think Victor went in, and then Victor went out, and O'Brien went in.
I think I looked down and was...
There were a good 5 seconds before anyone went to get the pin, even though...
that really sells the finisher. Man didn't move. He was down after that finisher.
Good for him.
Yeah. Man, if their finisher, the Fall of Man, they hit for the win. Which, once again, I want them to have something different. I don't know. It's the name of it's okay. I just don't like the finish for them. I want something bigger. It'd be awesome, and I'm sure they wouldn't want to do it. But I'd love to see someone do Power and Glory's old double team finish. The superplex into the top rope splash.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. That would be perfect for them.
One of my favorite finishes. I don't think
O'Brien is quite big enough for that.
And the question is, would Rick Victor want to hit a top rope splash every night? Because then he might be going, shut up.
You know what it is?
I don't want to go off the top rope.
It's a very good guy thing to do because it's almost too flashy.
Yeah.
The setup of it, and it's almost too flashy. But the high-low, it's impactful, and it's sharp, and it's kind of dirty. Yeah.
No, I hear you. Well, next we get hyped. We have... Oh, are you ready, Hobo?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. All right, I got my mojo right here.
I think everyone listening, just their ears.
I just blew out everybody's eardrums. Mojo Rawley takes on Ty Dillinger. And I will tell you, my first thought when I saw this, my eyes started to roll, and I went... Fourth squash in 15 minutes. Awesome. And we got exactly not that. And I thought this was
a real match.
I actually thought both these guys did a really good job. We don't really know Mojo very well yet. This is his second match. We've got a few promos from him. Ty Dillinger, we don't know. And I thought these guys did a good job. I mean, it looked to me like they gift wrapped somebody for Mojo Rawley because his tights looked like it was a ribbon to me. It wasn't, but Ty Dillinger, I'm like, it looks like he's gift wrapped.
That's funny.
He's got a present for you.
I don't want it. I don't want it. So, I mean, basically, Dillinger got a bunch of offense in here. He really worked over Mojo for a while. And Mojo, eventually comes back, gets his football stance, and couple splashes in the corner, does his butt bump, and hits his, I don't even know what they call it, the earthquake is what I remember it as, but you can't really call it the earthquake because he's so much smaller, but he sits on basically a flying, leaping sit onto Dillinger's chest and gets the win.
He had some really unique offense. Mm-hmm. When I knew he was a football player, and I'm thinking, oh great, we're gonna see the football player, the straight drive, nothing real fancy. But he was doing different stuff.
Yeah,
he had the hints of the football player, the 3-point stance and the spin.
The spins, those drills they do. Good. I thought that was really cool as well.
But I never saw the butt bump coming or his finish. I'm like, that's really different.
Yeah. He's very likable, lots of energy.
Charismatic.
I mean, definitely new, definitely green, a true rookie. But definitely some potential in Mojo Rawley. Now, I will tell you, I was just thinking this when this guy makes it to the main roster, they have a built-in catchphrase for him.
What?
Monday Night Rawley.
Oh.
Right there, man. Yeah. Monday Night Rawley.
Yeah.
So just a couple of years from there.
It's so weird to see someone come up so fast in NXT because it can't happen on the main roster. Or I guess it has happened a couple times, like with the Shield, but Mojo just debuted a month ago.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at
he's already one of the top guys there, which is crazy to think
And most of the Shield guys have been wrestling for 10 years.
Right.
So.
I know, but
you can thank cancer for his push. If it weren't for the whole cancer angle, he would not be where he is now.
I don't know that I mean, because they taped that after, like a lot of these things have been taped a month prior.
Well, I think they know him, they like him, and because of that, he can get a bigger push.
Right. I think they were probably about to give him that push, and this whole thing just kind of worked out, and it was just a little serendipitous is the way I get the feel.
Maybe.
I mean, who knows? I mean, we're just all guessing.
Right.
I know what it's like, what's going on in the conference rooms.
It's just weird to think, like, the first time I saw a promo of his, I rolled my eyes because I thought it was kind of stupid, and now I really like his character.
In his first match, I was like, oh, okay, but I liked that he grew on me on this one, and I thought Dillinger did a great job. And, I mean, that was part of it, too, is he had someone good to work with, and these guys really pulled off a good match. I didn't see anything wrong with this, really.
No. I mean, it said exactly what it should. When Dillinger went for the chops, Rawley no-sold him, didn't do a darn thing to him. It worked. Yeah. The whole darn thing worked.
They didn't go out there to steal the show. They just did what they were supposed to do, and
I think we
filled 5 minutes or whatever.
We can secretly thank Dillinger for that.
I agree.
If it weren't for a good person to work off like Dillinger, Rawley wouldn't have looked as sharp.
He looked better here than he did on his first match.
Who's he working with the first time?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but Dillinger definitely, I think, was a big part of that. Well, we next get a Raw recap, and if you guys want to know a little bit about Raw, you can go over to iTunes, and you can actually look. Miss Cathy Kelley does a little Raw recap on Mondays,
and you do it too sometimes.
Well, sometimes I haven't been there in a little bit, but Cathy always has to throw that back in that I'm also a part of it. We do SmackDown, we do NXT, we do Total Divas coming back, plus just any television show.
If you're a fan of a TV show that is on air right now, we probably have an after show for it. You can find it on our iTunes page. Just type in AfterBuzz TV. And then also, if you could take 30 seconds and rate and comment on this show, especially.
If you like it, if you don't like it, all the better. I read all the comments. I really do.
You probably read all the YouTube ones.
Yeah.
Do you read the iTunes ones as well?
I can't get iTunes.
I like reading the iTunes ones.
Yeah, we don't get as many of those. The YouTube is really where people.
And if you really like the show,
and if you're listening on iTunes and want to see what what we look like, the Hobo's wonderful smile, you can go over to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and check the show out as well.
I was just gonna say it's a free show for you guys, and none of us get paid, so it's kind of like
we're here because we want to be here.
Get paid, and is hearing your feedback, and whether you liked it, whether you didn't, just leave us something.
Although if you say anything bad about Cathy Kelley, I think the universe will come to a crumble. I really do.
Yeah. People do sometimes, and then there's just backlash from everyone.
It's fine.
We all have our detractors. I definitely have mine. I got Styles Bitchley every week talking about how he hates me.
Bitchley, fitting.
Yes,
fitting.
Absolutely. So anyway, we find out next week we are going to get Bayley and Charlotte versus Sasha and Summer, and
I'm looking forward to that.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm interested to see what they're doing with Charlotte's character if after this
in
kind
case
of
you didn't know, she's the daughter of Ric Flair.
I know, but I mean, with her kind of attitude that she was throwing around, are they gonna do something with that? She's a tweener.
Like, she's not quite heel, she's not quite face.
I almost be like,
she's gonna lose.
I almost think they should have her turn on Bayley, and she should join Charlotte.
Ooh,
and
like a Freebirds of Bad Ladies.
Have like a Mean Girls group.
Summer Rae and Sasha. You mean.
So join Summer Rae and Sasha. And then we're also going to get Adrian Neville versus Corey Graves in 2 out of 3 falls, the former tag team champions.
That should be something to watch.
I think that'll be good.
Really good.
Yeah, we don't get 2 out of 3 falls matches very much. It's a very old school thing. They used to do that all the time.
That was it. That was 2 out of 3 falls was the standard up until I'm not even sure what year now. But now it's 1 fall.
And even in Mexico, you still get a lot of 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh, Mexico, it's a thing. I don't think if it's it's a special occasion for you to see a 1 fall match in Mexico, and it's the same
especially
thing here.
And singles matches as well. They're always like 8-man tags.
Well, 6-man, 8-man. Yeah, they love their tag teams. Boy, howdy.
Don't know who the heels are. Don't know who the faces are. Don't know who's on even each other's teams.
Doesn't matter.
It's
just all colors.
Are we tag team partners, or are we against each other? That doesn't matter. I'm gonna hurricane you anyways.
I just looked up, and I have to say thank you to I think it's Chris Mingy he rated us on iTunes, and he said, finally AfterBuzz is doing an NXT after show, and it's great to it's great. Keep it up, Clum, and the great cupcake Cathy Kelley.
Chris Mingy is great.
Yeah, thank
one
you.
Of our super fans.
Glowing review.
Yes.
And we're also going to announce who won the contest.
Should we do that now or after we do the main event?
Should we do that? Keep them tuned in.
Keep them tuned in.
Keep the carrot dangling.
All right. That's why you're a star, my friend.
I know how to work that carrot.
Yeah, you do.
That's why I'm a star. Wait.
So we get our main event rematch from a few weeks ago. Luke Harper versus Kassius Ohno, my doppelganger, as some would say.
Oh.
You even wore your hair like he did to the ring today.
Oh, yeah. I guess I did. I just naturally do that, so because I hate it on my neck.
And if they want to see you wear your hair like that later tonight, you'll be at Santino Brothers.
I will be at Santino Brothers right after, because once again...
That's a really awkward segue.
I'm good at this.
I'm geared up again.
He's geared up again. Tune into SantinoBros.com, and they'll have a link to the live show.
Yeah, it's on. It's up on Ustream. I'm taking on Clutch from Las Vegas tonight.
Well, have fun with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he drove stick here from Vegas.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, it looks like a big guy. I found one match online from so I'm kind of going in cold, not knowing much about him. But anyways, they don't care about me.
Wow.
That they care about is the fact that Luke Harper and Kassius Ohno finished off the show tonight. They really start off. This is just a fight. This match was a fight.
This was a legal fisticuffs.
Yeah.
There was nothing pretty. There was no wrestling. This was two dudes going for blood with every inch of themselves. It was fun to watch. It was great to watch. But I mean, even the announce table with every hit was just cringing.
I think there were more holds in the Rusev Lefort match than this one. I mean, Ohno starts off with just immediate with a drop kick, and these guys just go back and forth for a while, just punching each other, kicking each other, anything they can do.
Yeah, I think it was a back body drop ended up being the big turn.
The big turn. Harper took over for a little bit until Ohno hits his rolling elbow and knocked Harper out of the ring, which takes us to commercial, and then we come back.
Long match.
Yeah, very long match, and honestly,
I liked
appropriate.
I wanted one.
It was good,
like a main event.
Yeah, and when I look how much time was left, I'm like, is there another segment after this? Because they're giving them like 20 minutes. It looks like
they managed to make punching each other look and feel interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it was sort of,
it wasn't boring. It didn't feel like we were watching the same thing over and over.
Someone suggested that if you guys have been following with Raw, it looks like at Survivor Series there's going to be this team up thing between the Wyatts and then who else?
Punk. I'm hearing it may actually be a tag match now between Punk, Bryan, and Harper and Rowan.
Okay.
It may not be an actual it may not be a Survivor Series match anymore.
Yeah, if it was all three of the Wyatts bringing Kassius up to do that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, because they wouldn't.
That would be. Wow.
Because
for anybody who follows the indies, they would wet themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, just not to get into Raw, from what I read, because then you have to then bring a couple other people in to make it teams of 4 for it to be a Survivor Series match, which doesn't really make as much sense just to do a tag match.
But a lot of people would like that.
A lot of people would love it, but
maybe they should do it.
sometimes you got
please the fans.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to go with what makes sense for the storyline.
Right.
Not to just please the fans.
We may see that in the future, but right now it looks like it may stick to the tag.
Yeah.
Lame.
Anyways, we come back from commercial. Ohno hits his little flippy thing out, and
flippy thing.
That's what I call flippy things.
I don't know what the name of it is.
It's a flippy thing.
I've seen it in Lucha.
I've seen it in Japan.
I've seen it in Japan a little bit.
They hook the top rope
you
and then
grab
flip
it
out.
It looks safe when he does it, but I can't imagine me doing something like that.
I
really can't.
Like something.
And then Harper hits him with the. Hits him with the boot there, I think, right?
Yeah, just
and then really just turns up the aggression from there, and just got really super aggressive. Slingshot on the ropes. Did his that rolling. What do you call it that he does?
Oh yeah, it was like a front face lock.
Front face lock, and he rolls around. Got really aggressive until where do we go? Ohno starts to come back. Big strikes, bulldog, drop kicks him in the head, hits the top rope blockbuster, but what's his name kicks out. Harper kicks out.
What's his name?
What's his name? Harper kicks out, leading to eventually we get another spinning elbow from Ono. Kicks out again. Harper finally hits the spinning clothesline to.
I like
to
the false finishes.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
There were a couple, yeah.
It was good. It was a good story. I mean, it really was just a hard-hitting. It was all punches, kicks, clotheslines. There was not any real wrestling moves. Probably the biggest wrestling move was the back body drop.
Well, that and the blockbuster.
Oh, the blockbuster. Yeah. That's right. The blockbuster. That'd be a real wrestling move.
Yeah, but it was limited, but it spoke volumes about the how these two individuals feel about one another. Mm-hmm. They were not holding back.
No, yeah, this is not the type of match that happens on two guys who are meeting for the first time.
No.
This was history behind this. A lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of hurt feelings.
Oh, yeah. And hurt.
The Wyatts hurt Ono's
body.
feelings.
Ono was on the shelf before this match. Mm-hmm. This was his comeback.
Well, no, this is his second match.
Comeback.
Because he had wrestled a couple weeks ago. They had their match, and this was the
I'm only going by what commentary was telling me.
Oh, okay.
They were selling this as this is his first thing.
Oh, no, this is second. This is his second match with them. They just wrestled a couple 2 weeks ago.
They had this match several weeks ago. But did you hear the crowd when the Wyatt's family music hit before the match?
Oh, they love him there.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the Wyatt family grew up. This is where they became characters. Yeah, this is the first place we saw them. So, whenever they get the Wyatts back, they love it. They love to sway back and forth to the music.
I like that. That was cool.
Yeah, they always do that.
I think they like the Wyatts, but they also respect the Wyatts as being the bad guy. Because it's like a horror movie. If you saw Jason Voorhees, you'd like to see him, but you sure as hell wouldn't go up and shake his hand.
Yeah, one thing I think is interesting about Luke Harper, too, we always hear about the indie wrestler and what an indie wrestler is. They're 5'5" and 102 pounds and whatnot. Luke Harper's an indie wrestler. We always kind of think of the smaller guys, but there are big dudes that get signed all the time from the indies, and Luke Harper's one of those guys. Wrestled Ring of Honor, and I didn't really ever see him, but from what I understand, had a very similar gimmick.
He looks the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. In Ring of Honor and other places, he worked as a trucker. And they pretty much transplanted that, and here we are.
Yeah. I think he's doing a great job.
It's really rare that you get that kind of crossover, but he's been lucky enough to keep everything basically the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of NXT, and that brings us to the announcement of the winner of the Performance Center T-shirt.
Yes. Before we get into that.
Oh, okay.
Overall thoughts of tonight.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, just like you wouldn't notice someone's absence, but people that I did notice their absence from tonight, Bo Dallas, Sami Zayn, and Aiden English.
Okay.
Yeah, no English.
I missed
no
the
English.
3 of those guys in tonight's episode.
You're not going to get everybody every week. We got English last week, but Zayn and Bo have been gone for a bit.
Those are the 3 standouts that have, in my mind, they have it. Like they have
and
the
that weren't there.
Maybe that's why they're taking time off. They're trying to build up the other guys, taking the focus off of those.
We also didn't have Neville or Graves on the show this evening as well, and I mean very small bit with Paige and Emma, but they really weren't on the show either.
I'm glad that we saw them at least in some capacity.
Absolutely.
And that's what I wanted out of these guys as well. But
don't forget, Bo Dallas is on his tour of Bolivia right now.
Yes. So, squirt guns to the hungry children.
Yes. They didn't want to overdo the storyline that they have with Bo Dallas and Sami Zayn, and that's why maybe I just wanted to.
And the fact is they have, this show isn't like Raw. It's not, let's put our best guys out all the time. They need to rotate guys in. There's a lot of guys down in development they're looking at. There are a lot of unbelievably talented guys. Some of their best guys aren't even on TV yet. We haven't seen a guy named Sean Ricker, who you know very well, now Slate Randall, who is, when this guy starts, this guy is a stud. I mean, he's
a stud of the highest caliber. You look at him, you hear him, he exudes just this self-love. He is himself, as any person could be. It's impossible to explain.
And the last man managed by Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, before he passed away recently. And he's a guy that I think is going to be great when he shows up. The former Samurai del Sol, Kalisto, in my opinion, the next Rey Mysterio. He's not on there yet. We haven't seen Sami Callihan, now known as Solomon Crow, on there. So, I mean, these guys, they have so much talent that isn't even on the TV show yet. It's incredible. It's crazy. They have room for 100 guys down there.
That's why people are going to keep tuning in here to hear the recap.
Absolutely.
To hear what's next. We are ahead of the curve.
Yeah, well, you know what is next is Cathy is going to tell us who won our competition.
Yes. So, Ryan the Broski, you won.
The official winner.
Unfortunately, we don't have the money to send it overseas. So, what we're going to do is you are the unofficial winner, and...
Yeah, because he made almost everybody. I didn't get one made of me, but that's okay. I think he's still working on everybody else.
He's not getting this shirt.
Yeah, that's right. No, but he did like a ton of them. They're brilliant. He did Josh and Dale Rutledge and Tom. I mean, there were like 8 of them.
It was so cool seeing all of the ones that everyone did, though. So we are going to send this to. We have our runner-up, so we're going to send it to them, and then
Okay.
Is that the?
I guess we'll tweet what's the name of our winner? Do you?
Ryan the Broski.
No, I mean our runner-up.
Oh, Tevi Time.
Tevi Time is the. We'll be getting the WWE Performance Center television
As long as he lives, I don't know if he lives in the U.S. I'm assuming.
I think he does. Okay. As long as he lives in the United States. If he doesn't, then we'll have to.
This is a debacle.
Yes. So, anyways, quickly, where can we find you, and who's your MVP of the show?
I don't have an MVP.
Come on, who do you think stood out tonight?
Bailey.
Okay, Bailey.
She wasn't even wrestling.
Fine. Yeah, you can have anybody you want. There are no right or wrong answers here.
Okay, and then you can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley. You can find me here doing a ton of shows, and then I just started doing Celebified, so check it out on Sidereal or Celebified.com.
And Hobo.
Well, let's see. This show really, the main event was the main event.
Yeah.
My 2 MVPs are Luke Harper and Cassius Ohno.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm going with that, too.
That was the main event for tonight.
Yeah.
And it really felt like it. And you can find me at True Hobo on the Twitter. And I'll be Sunday in Port Hueneme at the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood TV taping.
And you can find me on Twitter at Cluminator. I agree with you on the main event is the both those guys are the MVP of the night. And in about an hour and a half here at 8:30, check out the Santino Brothers wrestling show right on Santino Bros Ustream. Just Google that, and I will be wrestling Clutch from FSW tonight.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.